Pop Culture Pastor.
So there are certain times of the year where I feel like who I am gets kind of crushed down by all the things I have to do. And it's almost like my identity, my personhood gets overwhelmed and overtaken by my duties. Duties as, you know, that I have to the radio station, to the church, to the pod, but in this case, to my daughters.
Oh, daughters.
It is the dreaded dance recital week. And it pretty much consumes our entire family. Like we're making trips to Iola back and forth because that's where the dance studio they dance for, and every day. And then specifically today's when it really starts. It's Thursday, dress rehearsal day, then the show Friday and Saturday where my family is just kind of back and forth.
I would have just bought Just Dance.
I'm not going to enroll you in dance classes, but hey, check out this game on the Wii.
And then you'll thank me later when you are a backup dancer for some big pop star.
I'm actually very thankful that my girls found something that they're really into. Like they work hard at it. It's no less a sport for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're lucky, your kids will find something, and sometimes it's a sport. A lot of times nowadays it's a sport, and they really work at it and try to get better at it. A lot of times kids just have activities. They're made to have activities. They're not really into it, but they'll do it, but they don't really get better because they're not into it, you know? But my girls really are into dancing. They're just always dancing all the time. And I'm thankful for that.
So growing up, I did have some friends that were into competitive dance.
Mm-hmm.
And like the amount of effort, time invested, I will name it and claim it on this very program today. Dance is more a sport than power slap.
That's true.
Named it and claimed it.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, like, I think it's funny. It's just like the world. So it's like the social aspect of all of it is flipped. Whereas, you know, there's sport dad, you know, the dads that get a little too into it. Oh, there's definitely dance mom is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, buddy.
TLC made a ton of money off that show.
Well, I thought it was ridiculous, and I thought it was orchestrated until my girls got into dance. And then I'm like, nope, this is a real thing. And listen, y'all, some of y'all dance moms doing the same thing those terrible dads do with their kids with sports, and their kids end up hating sports. I've seen locally the girls that end up hating dance because their moms are way more into it than they are. And kind of keep pushing them, and it's a recipe for disaster. Let your kids find something they love, and let it happen organically. If it were up to me, I would have pushed all my kids into basketball because that's what I loved.
If it was up to me, I'd push all the kids into watching Footloose, and then they would know how to dance and save a town at the same time.
It's important. It's important work.
Yeah.
It's life-saving work. Thank you, Kevin Bacon.
Thank you.
Hi, welcome. This is Pop Culture Pastor, and we talk about things.
Like Footloose.
Sometimes like Footloose. Stay tuned for our entire special episode of how Footloose and the Bible align.
Terrifically.
Welcome to Pop Culture Pastor. Stick around. All right, welcome back. This is Pop Culture Pastor. Thank you for listening. And this is a very special time because we don't get a lot of interviews. Mostly it's just us in here talking into a microphone and pretending people are listening. So, so we're very excited to have members of the band Dawson Hollow
So stoked to be here.
Yeah, thanks guys for coming in.
Glad you could talk at some people today.
Yes. Yeah, well, it's my favorite thing to do. I've got Ben, Aaron, and Rachel, and you guys all have the same last name, correct?
Well,
your siblings?
Rachel's married.
But
yes, but
maiden name.
I'll still take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what is your last name?
Link, Link.
Ben Link.
In German, it means left. Fun fact.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There you go. Useless fact for your day.
It's practical.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah. Are any of you left-handed?
No.
No.
We
no.
marry left-handed people.
That's
I did,
true.
you
My
did.
wife's left-handed. Rachel's husband's left-handed. In the early days of the band, the Lefties was a contestant for the band name,
Oh, wow.
and
okay.
Along with like 100 other names that were
much worse than that terrible
There
band
was
names.
Left
Oh,
on Red.
Left on Red. Yeah, we had some doozies. So
Yeah, I think that's what we call prophetic. By the way. It's prophetic. Okay. Dawson Hollow, the band. Do you just want to, to my millions of listeners, do you just
Yeah.
want to, who is Dawson Hollow?
yeah, Dawson Hollow. We're 5 siblings. We're from the Ozark Mountains of Missouri. We grew up making music together. And as we got older, we started writing about life experiences, and thus Dawson Hollow was born. So our taste in music is wide and broad. So anytime you come to a show or turn on a record or whatever, it's gonna be picking and choosing from a lot of different places. But if we're in an elevator and someone's like, "Oh, what kind of music do you play?" We say indie folk rock.
Indie
So
folk rock.
it depends on what record we're working on. So the first record we had a lot of folky roots. This last one had a lot of kind of indie pop-ish. And then what we're working on now is kind of a blend of, we're really kind of doing a throwback to the 70s, kind of pulling back some different elements. But we always say whatever we're working on, there's a sprinkle of folk, just because that's the way we grew up. And
Yeah. That's awesome because I actually followed you for a while. So I remember seeing you guys or hearing you guys. I mean, this has been years back, but you were at Silver Dollar City. Uh-huh. So I took my youth group there for Young Christians Weekend. You were playing in the gazebo in the
Yes.
front.
Wow.
And I remember hearing you because look, the gazebo in the front is not the highlight spot for
It's
the
the
bands.
hello place
Yes.
of the whole place.
And I remember you just stopping. Usually there's so much going on in the chaos there. Mm-hmm. You just kind of tune it all out. But I remember stopping and going, wait a minute, what is this? And I remember on iTunes immediately purchasing that album, which I still have on my phone. And I love it. And it's very folky.
Yeah.
But it's been fun as you guys have, kind of evolved your sound. Like this most recent album, Even When It Doesn't Rhyme, is that the name of it? Is very 80s sounding to me,
Okay.
which I'm a child of the 80s.
Okay.
And so I just want to say before we go on, I love that album.
Thank you.
I just adore it. And so, it's been fun to watch you guys and listen and the covers. Oh man, the covers.
That's been fun.
And so I'm excited about the new album
Yeah.
and a 70s sound, which sounds fantastic.
we've never been more excited. Well, I don't think we've ever been more excited for people to hear this new stuff that we're working on. It's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are your let's say immediate plans? You got a new album coming. Do you have any idea when that's coming out?
Hello, I'm the calendar person.
Well, we all
welcome calendar person.
Yeah, everyone's got their role.
Yes, that's right. We are going to start dropping singles late summer. So
Awesome.
it's coming up very quickly. We
And
are
then the
right now.
album will come out at sometime in the future.
Yes. So there's some organic themes to the content of the album, and so we're starting to play around with what that looks like, and
Yeah.
green and
Yeah, a lot of garden metaphors.
Yeah.
And just what time of year the songs were written kind of come out in the lyrics. So we're going to look at releasing certain songs at certain times of the year, and then it'll all lead up to the full record.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys have released Christmas songs, covers, as we mentioned,
Yep.
all these things. Now, where do you guys go? Do you guys go all over the country? Or are you just mainly a Midwest band right now? How does that work for
Right.
you guys?
Since the beginning of this year, we've gone Florida, all the way up to California, up to Minnesota. This fall, we're going to the East Coast, like Virginia and stuff. Then we're going to go to Wyoming. So kind of all over.
That's fantastic. I'm so excited. I really want you guys to hit it big. And because,
Appreciate it.
like, I just love your sound. And I've obviously being here at the station, we come across people so often that come and do concerts like you guys are doing for us. And you hear them and you think, man, like they're just so talented. And you just want that for them. You want them to like just blow up. And then, you know, some do, some don't.
Right.
And so like, the whole music industry is weird in a sense of like
For sure.
feels like lightning in a bottle for bands. And so and you know, maybe some people don't even want that, but we'll get to that later. I do want to ask you like what you want for the future, but we'll come back to that. And why don't we take a break now and we'll come back and talk some more. All right, we're back with Dawson Hollow, and I'm excited about this round of questions because I don't want this to be just any other interview. We kind of pride ourselves here at Pop Culture Pastor at letting our the people that talk with us like let them their real selves out and just kind of, you know, because sometimes the interviews are just like the same questions over and over.
Sure.
I'm sure you guys are familiar with that, but this is what we call our zany, quirky round
All right.
of questions.
We're excited.
All right, are you ready?
We're ready.
For $500. I'm just kidding. I don't have $500. If your band were a superhero team, what would be your superpowers and how would you save the world through music?
Oh, that's a great question.
Okay.
Rachel, I feel like would be the type of person.
Can I be Pepper Potts?
Yes.
So who's going to be Iron
Yes.
Man? Who's going to be the jerk? We'll just skip Iron Man.
Yeah,
No
let's skip
jerks
Iron
allowed.
No jerks allowed.
We kind of already talked to y'all have roles, like, right?
That's
you know?
true. Yeah.
Iron
yeah.
Man was the, you know, Pepper Potts could be the organizer, the administrator.
yes.
Yeah.
I see a Captain America poster right now from where I'm sitting, but I've always loved Captain America. So either me or Kyle. Kyle would be
Oh.
Captain America.
Our
and
fiddle
just,
player is Captain
Yeah.
America at heart.
Yeah.
So he's
So
the,
he
he's
would
the Boy
just
Scout.
he would save the whole world with his muscles. That's
would.
just
Yes.
like we don't even need music. He'd flex and everybody like, all right, we're good.
I feel like our bass player would be the Jason Momoa Aquaman.
He'd be
Aquaman.
Aquaman. He used to have long hair and
Looked like Aquaman.
he did with his beard and everything.
He's kind of your outlaw.
He's a
Yeah.
majestic
Yeah.
Yeah.
presence.
Your Maverick.
Yeah.
Right.
Aaron, who would you be? And
Oh god.
what would your superpower be?
Would I be Rocket, the raccoon?
Oh
There
my
you go.
Yes.
Just kind of doing your own thing.
Scrappy. You can just put anything together with what's there.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Okay, Dawson Hollow is Guardians of the Galaxy. We're just a
Whoa.
bunch of weirdos,
Yes.
and we're family. They're big on family, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're just out here trying to save the galaxy.
I haven't seen
one
Guardians
show
of the
at a
Galaxy
time.
3, so
Oh, no
don't say
spoilers.
anything.
No
No
spoilers.
spoilers.
I haven't
Oh,
seen it
how have you
either.
not? You guys got to go see that.
It's so good. I've seen it.
I've
yeah.
fallen off the Marvel bandwagon, kind of. Like,
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to catch back on.
We talk a lot about that on the pod. Obviously, we're
Uh-huh.
geeks, and yeah, we would agree. We're hopeful they're coming back.
Yeah. Post end game has been a little rough, but
Yeah, but
So
what can you do?
if you're not Captain America, who
Oh.
are you?
I am Groot. Okay, I'd be like teenage Groot, kind of just like snarky and just like meh. Everything's just like meh. I am Groot.
Yes.
now are you the youngest?
No,
in the
so
band?
John, the bass player, is actually the youngest.
Aquaman
Okay.
is
So
the
I'm
youngest.
actually Aquaman. I'm actually the middle kid. So I don't know. Maybe I'd be like the college age Groot. I don't know.
Okay, next fun question. If Dawson Hollow could collab with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Okay. Each
Okay, you
member,
each get 3
each
people.
member of the band.
You can all go. Yeah.
Okay. I have
I
my
would-
immediates, but go.
I would collab with Daft Punk.
Wow.
I
Okay.
You would bring them back.
I would bring them
Yeah.
back.
Bring them back from disbanding.
Yes.
I
I
love
would
it.
probably collab with the band.
The band.
Ooh.
The band.
Okay.
That's taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Choice of choice.
Thank you.
I would like to do a 3-way collab with Jack Johnson and the Avett Brothers. Oh. Can you imagine? Like Jack had a ukulele and
gosh.
the Avets were there, and then it was us. That would be
I love it.
Yeah. Full disclosure. I'm a huge Avett Brothers fan,
okay.
and from way back. Like I really liked their older folk sound when they first started, and I still like them now. But oh man, yeah.
So today at the recording of this podcast or on the radio, Kyle, our fiddler, and his wife saw them last night. Like literally saw them.
Wow.
Was like, he's just like, dude, and they did this song. Like today, he's just been like freaking out. I'm like, oh, it's so cool.
Okay, this just came to me while you guys were talking. I have a selection as well.
Okay.
And this is going to be kind of out there.
All right.
I'm going to go, because it's any musician, dead or alive, I'm going to go with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Ooh.
I like it.
feel like that would be fun.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
And so, all right. Okay. Those were the zany, quirky questions.
Love it.
We will be right back with Dawson Hollow. Okay, we're back. These questions, this segment is going to be about the future. So now we're looking forward. If you could write the future for Dawson Hollow, what would it look like? This is like right into the psyche of a band, right?
Yeah. I think each of us have different parts of the band that we love. So for me, I can only speak personally. I love making records and going on tour. So the future for me would be just continuing making records and then getting to play where we want to play, big stages at festivals and getting to meet other bands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think for me, records and touring.
Yeah. Is it fun to make a record? It seems like it would be a very exhausting process.
It is taxing. Like literally, Aaron and I, we're from Missouri, and our studio we really like to work with is in Nashville, and we did like a back-to-back overnight just to be there for some mixes, and it is exhausting. You have to sacrifice time with family and like sleep and different things, and there are points where you're like toothpicks in your eyelids, just like, okay, if I hear this chorus one more time, I'm going to hate this song. But we're going to get this right, and it's always worth it. But yeah, it's definitely taxing.
The energy of like getting a mix back, either like from the studio or like you make a demo and then you mix it down and you get in a car and you're just going to go to town and you're like, oh, I want to listen to that demo really fast, or I want to listen to that new mix. The energy of that moment, the excitement of you have something that's completely new and you just want to listen to it is, for me, that's one of like the most exciting things about making records is like just getting to listen to it and just experience it. I don't know. That moment is electric.
My future, if I could speak the future, would be get some of our songs into some movies.
Oh,
some
wow.
big sync licensing stuff would be amazing. And then go on a few tours where we open for someone, like the
Yeah.
A-Bits.
Yeah.
Like, that would just be the best. I love being the band that hypes the audience for someone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so fun.
I feel like our point, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like where we're at in our career is perfect for that. For like, not everybody knows who we are yet. So we come out and we get everybody stoked for the big name that's coming up next.
Yeah.
Like we're primed and ready for that. So like getting on big tours this next fall or next year is like, that is, speaking the future, that's the next step for us.
Yeah.
Getting on tour with somebody like a Jude and the Lion or a Drew Holcomb or something like that. It's like definitely one of the next steps for us.
Yeah. Now, you recently opened for Judah and the Lion.
We did. We got to do one show. We actually got to open for Drew as well, and it's awesome. There's like a whole camp of just really good-hearted people making great music, and they all kind of find each other and tour together and do festivals and long runs like that together. And it's like, that's definitely in our futures, like starting to get into some of those camps and rubbing shoulders with people who we've listened to their albums for, whether just found them or 10 years, like we're ready for that. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. And Judah and the Lion and Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors, like you're referencing bands that are like, we really like to play on this station.
Yeah.
They're like Christians who make music,
Right.
right? So like there's this weird thing in the genre where you've got like the Christian music they play on all the Christian stations, which is really just like worship and praise music. Mm-hmm. But then there's
Lifestyle music.
Yeah. So the difference between those stations and what we do here, and why we love bands like you and Drew Holcomb and Judah and the Lion, especially when Judah does his own thing, kind of does that solo
Judah.
stuff, is there's music for the church, which is the music we sing on Sundays to
Yeah.
God. But then there's music by the church. And just that's the art that kind of flows out of
Yeah.
people in it. And it's just for it's for fun.
Yeah.
Like, I think sometimes we forget that we're allowed to have fun.
Yeah.
And so I really love that.
It's a really great time to be an artist in that space right now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like 5-10 years ago, that was tough. You kind of had to pick a side. And
Yeah,
there's
right.
now this space. There's I can't think of the right word, but there's kind of this like pendulum that you can land where you want to land and find that fan base.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to be an artist. It's a great time to be an artist that has faith and like get to share with people. So yeah, we're just stoked
Yeah.
to be doing this, you know?
We were talking, I think it was either earlier today or yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And the type of music that we make, it's kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh,
where
right,
it's
right.
like, it's not really that, but it's like you can pick up on themes
Right,
and hints that
right.
influence the story, influence the lyrics, influence the music. And it's,
Right.
yeah.
Like your spirituality is a part of who you are. And that just naturally comes out.
Right.
Right. You don't have to hit people on the head with a hammer. Right. It's just who you are flows out of that. And like saying that there's a space for that now is really resonates with us here at the station. Cause that's what we want to be, the flag wavers for you.
Yeah.
We want to be like, we're the guys leading the charge in the battle line. We're going to go down early because we don't have a weapon. We just have a flag or a drum or something. I don't know. But we want to be those
You're the
people.
Levites. Here we go.
Yeah, we want to be those people for bands like you. And I'm just very excited.
Well, we appreciate that for real.
We do.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming. I have one more question for you. By the way, if you've been listening this long, I haven't mentioned in a while. This is Dawson Hollow. It's Ben, Aaron, and Rachel from Dawson Hollow, a folk rock indie band. Or did I say that in the wrong order?
Hey, whatever
Indie
order.
folk rock.
Whatever works.
Depends on the song you're listening
That's
to.
true.
One last question. When you get big, will you remember us?
Yes.
Of course.
Absolutely.
When we knew we were coming back here, we were like, guys, we're going to the coffee house radio station place. We were all very excited.
I think I might cry. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are
Yeah,
awesome, and we really are rooting for you. We really are rooting for you, and
Appreciate it.
everyone, go check out Dawson Hollow wherever you listen to music. Their most recent full album was Even If It Doesn't Rhyme, which I already said is one of my favorites. Just absolutely one of my favorites. Listen to it, the whole thing on repeat. You got a new album coming out late summer. Singles start
we
coming
have
out late
music
summer.
coming out, and then the record after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, you'll want to check that out. So go look for them wherever you get your music, and good luck, guys.
Thanks.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
We'll be following you.
Woo.
All right, Cody, we need to talk about aliens, apparently.
Ancient aliens.
No, not ancient, not the show on the History Channel with the aliens guy, the meme guy.
Giorgio.
Although he's probably the happiest dude on earth right now.
Yeah, he is.
Was that his name, Giorgio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, a big story broke.
As big as his hair.
That dude did have some nice hair.
It got bigger as the show went on.
Yesterday, a whistleblower has come forward, is what we found out. The article on a questionable news site, by the way. I was like, what is this site? Why are they breaking this news?
Because questionable news sites are the most reliable news sites.
Yeah, none of the mainstream news sites ran with any part of this story. Here's what you need to know. Apparently, someone who has previously worked inside the government, who is taking advantage of laws made by Congress or signed into a law by Joe Biden just a few weeks back,
Joseph Biden.
which seems like the timing is a little too convenient, if you ask me, but we'll get to that. New laws in place to protect whistleblowers, specifically ones that are outing the government, specifically when it comes to UFOs. Joe Biden signed that into law just a few weeks ago, and now I'm just like, so I'm supposed to believe this is just a coincidence then? that this guy has been talking to people for a while, and now that's like, I don't know.
I like to think that Joe Biden knew that this guy was going to leak it, because Joe was tired of being like one of 4 or 5 people that knew this secret information.
Okay. So the whistleblower is testifying to Congress, and has been apparently a congressional committee. And that makes this newsworthy. What has he been testifying about? Well, he claims to have worked in shadowy organizations within the government. So like most people inside the government wouldn't even know about it. And he's saying that these things, that the United States government has craft of non-human origin, like full craft, not pieces, not this. It says objects retrieved are of exotic origin, parentheses, non-human intelligence. Material includes intact and partially intact vehicles. And the Department of Defense are who cleared these statements for open publication. That was the information that kind of came out yesterday. So there's a guy who a lot of people are backing, who says, I used to work deep within the government for these organizations inside the government, and this is true.
My guess, he worked for Men in Black.
I mean, basically that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Not in a non-Hollywood sort of way, that these divisions would have been specialized for this, according to that guy. Here's straight from the article from the Debrief, which is the one who ran with this story. A former intelligence official turned whistleblower has given Congress and the intelligence community inspector general extensive classified information about deeply covert programs that he says possess retrieved, intact, and partially intact craft of non-human origin. The information, he says, has been illegally withheld from Congress, and he filed a complaint alleging that he suffered illegal retaliation for his confidential disclosures, reported here for the first time. Other intelligence officials, both active and retired, with knowledge of these programs through their work in various agencies, have independently provided similar corroborating information both on and off the record. Okay, so that's a quote from the actual story where this guy claims that he's got people in his corner, people that have tried to negatively impact him for going to Congress with this information, who's apparently already, this committee's already heard his testimony, hours of it. And what we're left with is this story breaking yesterday, which is the hilarious part about this. Wasn't even the big story yesterday. Like some people were talking about it.
Barstool Sports was,
but not everybody was talking about it. And that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm trusting that this is reliable.
Let me just ask you, where are you at with this? Where are you at with aliens? Seriously, not ancient aliens on the History Channel,
which is so fun. So like, I don't rule anything out just because the Bible does say there are things seen and unseen. God created the heavens and the earth. And so, there might be life forms out there. And I'll go to what my friend KB,
friend, yeah, good friends,
hip hop artist, you ought to know, said, because he was asked this same question. He's like, well, if they're out there, the Bible says every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. So they will be worshiping God, or they will learn about Jesus when they come and visit me. So
there you go. I'm just going to tell you, I'm dubious.
I don't know why they would visit us. Like, that also seems very self-centered. Like, oh, they're going to come to Earth. Why? Yeah. Why would they?
I have real reasons why I believe that this is probably much ado about nothing. And we're going to go over them here moving forward. So one of the big news items yesterday was this whistleblower who has come forward and is speaking with congressional committees and talking about these deeply covert programs that allegedly have recovered alien materials. And they said like full vehicles. So we're talking like a spaceship, not of human origin. That's his claim. Okay. That's the claim of the news article. Now, I mentioned in the last segment that I'm a little dubious and I have reasons. So I'm going to talk about reason number 1 on this one. I dig graphs. I dig charts. I dig maps, things like that. I like data presented in that form. And a few weeks back, I was looking at a particular map. Now, this map was a map of the world, and it showed UFO sightings, basically. Okay? So every time there was a reported UFO sighting since like the early or maybe like the mid 1800s. So way back, they took it seriously. They were complete. Every time there was a reported UFO sighting, they put a little dot on the map. Cody, can you tell me where pretty much all of the dots were?
In unpopulated areas?
No.
In populated areas?
Yes. Specifically, when you think about countries, where on the map were these dots?
United States and Mexico.
99.9% of all these UFO sightings for the last 200 years come in the United States, the bulk of them in the United States, and in some westernized cultures in Europe. England, Paris, France, these westernized cultures. And that's it. Like the amount of dots that were outside of those areas, we're just talking a few. So please tell me and explain to me why these supposedly advanced aliens are just appearing to the United States.
Because we're the most advanced society, Dave.
Yeah, depression numbers and self-harm numbers notwithstanding, we seem awfully civilized and advanced.
So I will say, as someone that grew up watching Unsolved Mysteries, there is a community in Mexico that like everyone and their mom has like seen aliens or UFOs and like have captured them on film. And my friend Robert was telling me, is this really UFOs or is this government spy planes?
I mean, granted, if you go to a bigger city in Mexico, I would classify that as a westernized society, though.
Word. / this has given me a random idea and thought, which is we should do a podcast where we rewatch episodes of Unsolved Mysteries, the old ones, not the new ones.
Oh, okay.
And be like,
with Robert Stack?
Yes. And be like, this sounds phony baloney, or I can solve this one.
Every once in a while, Robert Stack would come out on one of those shows and he'd be like, update.
Yeah.
We still have no idea where this person went. And like, I don't even remember updating what. I don't even remember them doing the original story. And I watch this show every week. He would just randomly come out and update something. I'm like, you didn't talk about that before, Robert Stack. Like, what is happening here? Update. We still have no idea where Dave's computer went. Update. Dave has still not found his keys. If you see his keys, call our 1-800 hotline. I don't know. Anyways, one of my big problems is all the recorded sightings. And by the way, this place did their diligence. Like it didn't matter like if you were living in a third world country, if this community, reported seeing things in the sky, they put a dot there. And so it seems weird that the only people that see UFOs are the people living where all the light pollution is. That seems fishy. That seems weird.
I've seen Cowboys versus Aliens.
That's a documentary. That's real.
But Ancient Aliens did tell me that some cowboys claimed to saw UFOs.
Yeah. Okay, what they...
Again, it was Ancient Aliens. That's all I'm going to say.
I think the problem is we're dealing with so much secondhand information. when we talk about stuff like this.
A lot of secondhand information, and also I think there's more of a desire for there to be something other than ourselves, and that it gets to a deeper truth that when we are separated from God, when we're separated from our faith, that we'll try to fill it with a bunch of other things, including hoping and wanting and longing for there to be something other than us.
Yeah, it's a scary thought to think that universe is so big and there's nothing out there, isn't it? For those people who don't have any sort of belief structure at all, that's a scary thing to feel that isolated. I agree. It's almost as if whoever created all that was setting this up to make you feel that isolation without this specific design.
Maybe.
Okay. Second reason why I'm dubious about the alien whistleblower story that just exploded yesterday. This happens at least twice a year now for the last several years. Everyone's acting like this. Oh, this is different. This is news. And I'm just like, no, it's not. This happened last year. Do you not remember the stories? There's been people coming out every 6 months or so, and they'll be like, I used to work in a shadowy organization in the government, and we definitely have aliens. Like this is not the first time this has happened. This happens quite frequently now.
My friend Thomas DeLong has been spotting the UFOs and researching them for years.
But he's not what I'm talking about.
I know.
The crazy guy from Blink 182 is not the guy I'm talking about. The guy that gave up his music career and his riches to chase down UFOs is not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about that this is not a news story. This has happened a couple times a year for at least the last 4 or 5 years, where you get some dude who comes out of the woodwork saying, I used to work for these shadowy organizations. Usually they show up on Joe Rogan's show.
Yeah.
And he says, I used to work for them. We definitely had alien craft and blah, 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 blah. Like Bob Lazar is a name that's out there.
Yeah.
Who was one of the first guys. And ever since he came out and said what he said, it seems like you get one of these guys like that come out of the woodwork. And I can't help but wonder if it's because, hey, when you go on these shows and you talk like Joe Rogan, if you go on Joe Rogan's show, you get paid. Like they give you a fee. That's normal for all like talk shows that have a certain following.
If Joe Rogan wants me to come on his show, I will reduce my fee.
Me too. Yeah, I'm with you.
And
Joe, give us a call.
We can give you the insight to pop culture and faith.
We'll talk about UFOs too if you want. Yeah. But my problem is that this is not an abnormal story for our culture within the last 10 years, 15 years. This is not new.
So I also wonder if part of the whole UFO hype up is because there were shows like Unsolved Mysteries that would have segments about UFOs and ghosts
that we grew up on.
And that we grew up on. And it's like, well, instead of being like folklore or like sci-fi, now it's real. And now we got to keep looking.
So you have this culture that we put in place where we want to believe that kind of stuff. We grew up loving shows like Unsolved Mysteries. And now, probably for today's generations, they grew up on Ancient Aliens on the History Channel and things like that. and these kind of wishes and wants are out there. Hey, you're not alone. We love sci-fi. We're pop culture pastor.
I literally have a Twilight Zone comic book.
I thought you were going to say Twilight. I was like, then you said Zone, and I was like, okay.
There are the whole series of Twilight books in my house, but they're not mine.
Mm-hmm, sure, we know you're into vampire romance stories, but whatever. Anyways, let's focus here. I was driving at a point.
Yes.
So we live in a culture where we want to believe in this stuff because we're pop culture driven, our society. And so there's that part of it. Then there's this part of it where maybe you get kind of rewarded for being one of these people who says, I worked within the government and we did this. And like, you're at least talking about book deals, which you're getting paid for. Like, so let's not pretend that this dude who came out, this whistleblower, isn't going to get a book deal, isn't going to make some money off this, because he will. And this is the most damaging part, okay? Because I read the article. It was a long article full of a lot of jargon and boring stuff. But I read the article on the debrief.org. This is the most damaging part of this. You ready for this? This is the third reason I'm dubious. This dude is whistleblowing things that he was told. He has not seen with his own eyes said alien craft.
Oh.
This is just what he was told by higher ups in whatever shadowy organization he's working with. He has not physically seen, touched, heard, analyzed with his own senses these alleged craft. The farther away you get from the source, the less reliable it becomes. And once I read that in this article, that this dude hadn't actually seen it, it's just what he was told by people who had, allegedly. You guys, this is a story about nothing.
Right now.
This dude's whistleblowing to Congress things he hasn't actually seen. He's just, oh man. Everyone's getting all excited and I'm just like, I don't think this is real. Listen, if you're the government and you want to cover up, you have stolen technology you shouldn't have, not yours.
Looking at you, Soviets.
Wouldn't it behoove you to say to your subordinates, the people who don't need to know, it's foreign acquisition, but not that kind of foreign, unknown origin, right? Wouldn't it behoove you to say that? Because they're never going to see it.
Oh, yeah. And so the thing that I think a lot of people forget about is after World War II, after we tear apart Germany and all their valuable resources, the United States and Soviets split like their most talented scientists. And so we get Warren von Braun and create our NASA program. Soviets get scientists too.
Yeah.
And so our technology advances and their technology advances. Who knows how their technology fully advances, because they were the evil empire and we know nothing about them because they were secret like we were secret.
Yeah. It's interesting, but I don't know that it's that interesting. Hey everybody, Dave here. What you have just listened to are bits and pieces of our radio show. We have a radio show on KFEX Firescape Radio located in Chanute, Kansas. You can hear that show from noon to 4 every weekday. So if you want to tune into that, you can go to www.kfex931.com, or you can search KFEX in your app store on your smartphone and find their totally free app there. If you're a fan of Christian music, you might like to listen to our live show when you're at work, or if you're a stay-at-home mom and you like music in the house, you may love to listen to that during the day. So give it a try. We would also direct you to our podcast, Pop Culture Pastor. That's probably why you're listening anyways to this version of what we do. As always, subscribe to the podcast, follow us on our social medias on Facebook and Twitter. It helps us out when you share it, when you review and rate us on our podcast homes. And of course, follow us on social media and share our stuff there. So thank you so much for listening. We love all of you guys so much. We have such a great community of listeners, and we'll see you when the regular pod drops on Friday.